Welcome back, all you beautiful people, to that We Got Action podcast. This episode 24. This is part 2. We're going to be talking some NFL now, a little more football focused here, and football. Shout out USA for making the knockouts. They did get out of their group stage today.
Yes.
Very skinny 1-0 win over Iran. Brazil's his team's already in.
We've been through.
But yeah, so we're going to be talking football with y'all. Danny, we wanted to start off just with a broad, general Week 12 takeaways. We did miss last week, so if we want to spice something in there about that, yeah, Week 12 takeaways. What do you got?
I'll start off with at least
That was there's a decent amount.
There was.
There's been some action.
I got at least 2 takeaways, at least from this past week. For me, one of them is actually going to be Trevor Lawrence. Having that win against the Baltimore Ravens. I think that last year there was a lot of slander. Obviously, Urban Meyer, that was just a whole mess in that system. But now that he's actually got a quarterback's coach, he is showing the player that everybody thought he was going to be. And the fact that you can lead your team in less than a minute down the field with no timeouts in the fourth quarter to win the game by 1. And also the gutsy play of going for 2 as well, instead of just taking the field goal.
Big game from Zay Jones as well.
Yeah, yep. I just think that now we're actually seeing the real player that Trevor Lawrence was meant to be, and that everybody projected him to be coming out of Clemson.
Yeah, I was coming out of high school, bro. I've been following him since he was a senior in high school, and he's always been a dog. So I think just that instability of Urban Meyer and that just rough coaching staff they had, it's just definitely cleaning house and getting something fresh for him is really going to, I think, benefit his career long term. I think something I'm liking to look at is just Dan Campbell, man. What a job he's fucking doing in Detroit.
And everybody was saying he should get fired. You got to let him ride, dude. You got to let it ride.
Ever since we talked about that firing, I'm pretty sure they're like 3-1 or 4-1.
Yes. Yeah.
And they just pushed the Bills to Tyler Bass having to hit almost a 50-yarder game winner. I mean, it took Josh Allen making a absolute precision throw to Diggs for 40 yards just to get him into field goal range. I mean, they really pushed the Bills, who we have as a top 3 team in the league. That really pushed them to the brink right there. And then the other one I wanted to talk about was the Packers. I think, I mean, not to stay in the division or anything, but the Packers, I mean,
they suck.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. They had a dynamite game against the Cowboys. They came back.
Yeah. I mean,
against the Cowboys,
they put up 33 against the Eagles. It's not like,
but it's an L, man.
Yeah,
I thought in my opinion, I thought that they might have been able to turn it around at 4-6 after that Cowboys win, and then they go ahead and drop the next 2 and just kind of at that point we'll have something we talk about later on. With Jordan Love, but what do you do with that situation too if you're 4-8 now, probably out of the playoffs unless you win out?
Yeah, that's something that. It's hard to gauge the Packers, right? Because I believe that they have a top 10 defense. They have top players on their defensive side of the ball. Obviously, the offense is what was lacking, but I think this year you just got to toss it up. You got to, at this point, well, obviously we'll talk about it, but at this point,
the emergence of Christian Watson is nice for them at least.
Crazy. And
there was a stat where he has more.
He has 21 catches. I believe in the Eagles game, probably finished with like maybe a couple more catches. So to probably round it out, 22-23. Has 7 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
3 catches.
He had 4 catches for 110 yards and a touchdown on the Eagles game.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you look at touchdowns, he has more touchdowns than we look at guys like Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, CeeDee Lamb.
Jamar's been hurt though, so I'll give
Justin
him that.
Jefferson.
Yeah.
I mean, these are some big names. Tyreek, like these are some big names that he's got more touchdowns than, and he's only done that in the last 3-4 games.
I think he's gonna be a great player.
He's a huge body with that speed. I mean, he's got all the tools.
I wanted him.
He's got all the tools.
Yeah, he does.
So I don't think that they didn't necessarily miss on that pick. I definitely think they hit on the pick. They just need to give him a little time.
Yeah,
not everybody can be a Jefferson or Jamar Chase and come out the gate.
Exactly.
Absolutely lighting fire.
Especially playing at North Dakota State.
Right, like, exactly. It's going to take you time to go. Like LSU, that's already almost borderline NFL ready football.
Yeah.
You know, a lot. You've heard Jamar Chase and Jefferson talk about it. They came out NFL ready offenses. So yeah, I like Christian Watson so far. I think the Cowboys too they did lose that game to the Packers and then came out and mopped what everybody had as arguably the second best team in the NFC. Held the Vikings to 3 points, and then they also beat the division rival Giants. I like that as well.
Yeah.
The Niners keep rolling since we're on that.
That's 4
Might
straight
not be offensive
second
style,
halves
but
without allowing a point, I believe.
Exactly.
We haven't allowed a point in 11 out of 22 halves.
Your bandwagon, Danny, they're still rolling. That team's gonna be hard to beat, man. They're gonna be hard to beat.
But one thing though, I think the 49ers though, they're really rounding out into form now. I think we're really truly seeing, and
we have a big test this week, and I think it'll be a fun watch.
But Jimmy G is playing out of his mind right now.
So I got this on,
what
baby.
What are you talking?
Oh, I disappeared.
dude is playing clean football right now. Hasn't thrown an interception in the last 3 or 4 games, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, has he thrown a touchdown pass in his last 3 or 4 games?
Yes.
Hey, yes. Come on now. Don't disrespect him.
4 touchdown passes against the Cardinals last week.
Yeah, don't disrespect the man's like that. Come on now.
In Mexico,
Danny, they put up fucking 13 points at home.
I know. But hey,
we just came back from Mexico, man. It was
they
and
put
the Saints
up
are
13
not anybody to
points at home.
And guess who had a passing touchdown?
Jimmy G. Hey, that's what I'm saying, man. But Vitor, what you got for a big takeaway, bro? What you got?
One of my takeaways is that, speaking of trash, Zach Wilson is.
Please, bro. Mike White. That is Mike White's job.
Or Joe Flacco.
No. Mike White. Look at what he did in his start last year.
Yeah.
Threw for over 400 yards, and he was on pace to do it again in the first quarter before he got taken out with that concussion or whatever. Yeah, bro. He's a dog. I'm surprised he wasn't in competition for the job early on.
But do we think though that obviously bringing up Zach Wilson, Mike White, you can even throw Joe Flacco in there. He was slinging it earlier in the season before Zach Wilson came back. Do we believe though that this was just a product of that? We can look at it. The Jets should have tried Zach Wilson against the Bears. Do we look at it like that? Because obviously they're not a great defense. That would have shown a true test, like if he is at least a competent quarterback, that you can thrash a bad defense. But or do we think that it was just a product of that? Do we think I don't think Mike White's gonna start. I think he'll start games, but the moment he slips up, he's getting iced.
Well, I mean, Salah's already said,
anything.
Yeah, Salah's already said that they're not done with, like, they're not giving up on Zach Wilson.
You can't.
But I think it's one of those things, right? Like, I think they had to bench him, especially considering after his comments post game last week, which we didn't talk about. But basically, he had a stinky game, and his defense played great.
Stinky game, bro. They had more total yards in the first drive than they had.
They had 2 total yards in the
entire second half. Might have been the whole game.
And he was asked if he let the defense and his team down. And he said no.
It was a quick no.
Yeah, and then afterwards, he said he talked to him and his teammates came out, said that he talked to them. He owned up and he said that it was not. He said it wasn't the right thing to say.
But he should have did it right there.
That's some shit you do in hindsight, though. After what Garrett Wilson comes out and says, "Yeah, we suck."
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. That's some shit you say after.
Yeah, and even the same thing now.
Soft ass thing. That was a soft ass move,
even saying the same thing with when Elijah Moore wasn't getting the ball in the first part of the season. Oh, what kind of connection do you have with Zach? I don't know. I don't get the ball. Like, what do you want me to do? I don't. And then all of a sudden, Mike White comes in, has a touchdown, has his season high yards.
He makes Elijah Moore look good. He makes Garrett Wilson back into a number one. I mean,
you know how sad it was when I had to drop Garrett Wilson because he wasn't producing.
Yeah,
and now
he went for 20 and then 30 in back-to-back weeks, and then single digits.
Yeah, it's tough, man. But another thing too, that is obviously going to be big heading into the offseason with his lingering free agency. It's Josh Jacobs, 303 scrimmage yards in this last game. If anybody had him in fantasy,
or went against him went against him in 2 separate leagues.
Yeah, obviously Vitor had the pleasure of going against Josh Jacobs there.
I was gonna try and get you back. Yeah. Just laying back there.
But it's a lingering free agency that they have. We can just kind of go quick with this one since it's kind of a free agency thing. We got to see how it plays out. Contract year. Do we believe that? Obviously, he's going to be looking in the $16 to $20 million range. Do we believe that the Raiders are going to fork up that money and secure him, even in obviously in a position that doesn't have a long shelf life in the NFL, in the league? Or do we believe that they're going to put those funds elsewhere, especially towards that bad defense?
I don't think they should. I mean, I stand by that. When you look at a lot of guys entering, we were talking about at the gym this morning, going into year 7, Zeke is kind of falling down.
Yeah,
Aaron Jones is kind of slowed down. Even Derrick Henry's not as dominant as he was. All 3 of those guys are in years 7 or 8. You know, that starts to take a toll. I think Josh Jacobs has kind of had some injuries early on that have maybe not had put him under as many snaps as those 3 guys we talked about, because those 3 guys have been workhorses their entire careers.
Yeah.
Nah, the Raiders might give him the money, to be honest. I stand by that.
I think they're
it's
not
so tough given a fat contract, because you think at the end of that contract they're going to be in years 9 and 10. What do you how much production are you going to have in year 9 and 10?
It's very rare.
Never.
Rare. Yeah.
You know, so I don't like it. Maybe a small one, 2-year extension or something like that. 2-year contract, something.
I don't.
Something smart, but
yeah.
these guys aren't dumb. They're not going to take.
I don't think that I don't think they're going to fork it up. I think that
Somebody
they have
might.
much. Yeah, but I think that they have much bigger issues to worry about if you're looking at the overall state of the team, and what you really need is a good defense.
And
they do not have
and
that.
a quarterback.
Yeah. And he's top 10.
Go get Bryce Young.
Top 10,
Oh, but then now they're winning the last 2 weeks, so I don't know what their plan.
Their plan is to just have a mid pick and continue to be
mid.
There you go.
And just keep losing to the Chiefs.
But the next thing that I wanted to get into is the Cincinnati Bengals. They're peaking at the right time, 5-2 in their last 7. Yeah, peaking again. They're 5-2 in their last 7 games. Getting Jamar Chase back, obviously from the hip injury that he did have. Are they peaking at the right time, or is this just a product of their schedule? They do have the hardest remaining schedule in the league. They are tied with the Bengals for the division lead as well, which is also a huge deal. All right, that's the Ravens. I'm sorry. Bengals are tied with the Ravens. Yeah, Bengals are tied with the Ravens for a top of their
Bengals
division
beat
there.
The Ravens, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Bengals beat the Ravens, so they own the tiebreaker. But Ravens have one of the easiest remaining schedules remaining, whereas the Bengals have the hardest remaining schedule remaining. So, who do we think is going to win that division? Do we believe that it's the Bengals or the Ravens?
Come down to their next matchup.
I don't think it matters really.
They played both.
So the Ravens did beat the Bengals by 2 points in week 5. So I know they have another one coming up in 13 or 14.
So 14, normally like to stick 14. Those games in division, like towards the end of those seasons.
Yeah, you might be right.
Division
I think it is
games.
that last week. Where is it? Yeah, it is the last week of the season. Week 18 will be.
Yeah, it's normally all division.
I don't really think it matters. I think both teams make the playoffs. I think the better team is the Bengals. I think the Bengals are a scary, scary team. I think outside of the Chiefs, maybe even the Bills. I think the Bengals are a team you do not want to run into, because they are capable of dropping 40 on any team, especially with Jamar coming back. They're doing this the last 2 games with Samaje Perine, and that was off of Joe Mixon coming off a 6 touchdown performance before he got the concussion. Yeah, that I don't want to. If I'm any AFC team, that's the one matchup I don't want to see.
And their defense is playing solid. This is the same thing that we saw.
That's what I'm saying.
It's the same thing we saw last year. Is that their defense is starting to pick it up now in the middle of the season. Their line is starting to play up to.
They're not a slouch on either side of the ball.
No, and it's just going to get scarier with Jamar coming back at that point. Yeah, I mean, the way he was rolling, especially those last 3 weeks before he was hurt, he literally went for 30 piece in fantasy. Yeah. So it just showed how much of an impact that he truly made. And I think he's going to make the same thing. I think he is scheduled to come back this week as well. So we'll just have to wait and see on him. But next thing we want to get into, we talked about it a little bit earlier. CC had mentioned Green Bay Packers. Obviously, it hasn't gone well for them the last 2 games after beating the Cowboys. They're 4-8 right now. Pretty much they're mathematically still in the playoff picture.
Might have to win out.
But they might have to win out, but I don't even think that's going to help either way. But should Green Bay sit Aaron Rodgers for the rest of the year so that way you can actually get a look at Jordan Love? Or if Rodgers says he wants to play, you're going to play him?
That's tough, man.
Yeah, you're paying Rodgers a lot of money to not play him if that's the case.
Yeah,
but
it already hurts going 4-8.
Yeah,
when you're paying Rodgers that much money.
I do think starting Love and seeing what he's actually got and letting him develop true chemistry with some of the receivers is probably the best bet. Especially because like I don't think this team is a picker, a draft pick and a free agent away from being competitive again.
I mean, I disagree. I think you're Devontae Adams away from being competitive.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. But
yeah.
But
I think if Devontae's on the team, they're still
that's not slight work, right? Like you're not gonna who's gonna be available that's gonna make that sort of difference with whatever. I'm sure they're not in the best financial position because it's the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers.
They can't.
Yeah, like readily available. Yeah, and it's not even like Jordan Love looked good in the limited playing time that he had. Yeah, he threw for almost 120 yards and around like about 10 passes or so. So very limited. Obviously, had the touchdown pass to Christian Watson on that slant route that he had there or on that drag. But
come on, I could throw that.
I know, but I'm just saying though. But I think
sometimes all you got to do is make the right play. You don't have to make the.
Talking about that from experience.
Oh yeah, baby.
Yeah. But I think though, I think though you have to start. I think you have to look at starting Jordan Love.
It's an option. I agree.
At least start. I would say at least for the Bears game, you have to start him.
Whoa! Don't disrespect us, Dan.
I'm not. I'm just saying more so for the evaluation portion. Like you have to at least play him. Let him start. Let him get prepped up 1 week as a starter. Let Aaron Rodgers actually sit, get healthy at least somewhat before you risk something even more. I think you got to give the kid a chance. You drafted him in the first round, but yeah, you won't even draft a wide receiver in the first round when you've had multiple chances to. You have to do something. You have to change something up.
It could, yeah. No, I still think he's talented. I don't know if he's the answer.
Yeah, but we're not going to find out if he doesn't start games.
Exactly. So then at that point, you're better off trading him, but he also doesn't have any tape to be traded for, so you really don't get anything of equal or even somewhat similar value back. So what
if you are high on him, you're thinking, first, second rounder, and other teams are like, you don't play him, fifth rounder, sixth rounder.
Or the teams that really need quarterbacks, though, are teams that are probably going to end up going for
picking quarterbacks in the draft.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And at that point, you have more talent.
And again, how many teams that might need quarterbacks also are willing to take a chance on a young guy, right? Like you look at maybe like the Colts, they're not going to be taking a chance on Jordan Love, right? If they're going to get another quarterback, it's going to be someone established and also not.
It's a good team, toast,
though. Like Matt Ryan.
But yeah, you'd rather give somebody off of a fresh rookie contract than
which like, they have Sam Ellinger. I mean, that didn't really work out for those two teams. But
he's not the answer, though. We all knew that.
No, the answer's sitting at Stanford, finishing a degree or something, whatever he's doing. Yeah, Andrew Luck.
Unfortunate, man. Imagine if they still had him. That team would be nasty.
Oh, bro,
right now.
They might have a bowl. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh my God.
They might have a bowl. Last year they might have had a bowl with the way that O-line and John Taylor.
And they just needed somebody who could throw the ball.
They might have been nuts.
And then you could have had someone a lot better than just throwing the ball.
Exactly.
Oh, bro. Yeah.
But
top 10 quarterback in the league.
Kind of a little bit spicy here. I really wanted to get into this. I brought it up in our group chat and all that. I think the Ravens are playing a dangerous game right
now. Yeah, I agree.
So the main question I really wanted to point out and really get your guys' opinion on, I really want to kind of get in depth with this because we talk about Tyler Huntley.
You had made a good point too about, was it Lamar in Detroit? Somebody said that.
I've seen a lot of stuff about that.
Wow. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Jameson Williams coming back. Amon-Ra St. Brown. The 1-2 punch of Jamal and Swift. Yo, they're a quarterback away. Because Dan Campbell will get that defense right.
Could use a tight end now that he traded Hawk.
I mean, they could
could use
a few defenders, but
yeah.
Go ahead, Danny.
But are the Ravens playing with Lamar Jackson? Are they playing with him? They don't want to sign him. They don't want to
play with him.
Yep.
Are they playing with him?
They're playing with him. They're playing themselves. That's what they're doing.
You think they're playing? I think they're playing with him. I don't think they're playing themselves.
I think they're playing themselves. You have one of the best quarterbacks in the league who's doing it with no receivers, and his tight end is banged up.
Half-leg tight end, yeah.
Like he's got like all the. I saw like a little stat from this game.
Mm-hmm.
He had 0 turnover-worthy plays in terms of passing. He had he had like almost all his passes were like on the money. He had 4 drops in one game, or 5 drops in one game, which ties the high for a game this year. Like he's doing it with no help. And like we talk about, it's an upset. The Jags coming back, beating the Ravens, blah, blah, making that drive. They wouldn't be in anywhere near that, even competing for that game if it wasn't for Lamar's performance. So I think they're playing themselves if they're not gonna be willing to fork up the money, because all they got to do is pay him and get him a wide receiver.
And I know the argument he's going to make here is they have Tyler Huntley waiting in the wings.
Cheaper,
and I do agree.
Way cheaper.
The bargain is there. And I love Tyler Huntley. But, man, he ain't no Lamar Jackson. I get the bargain. I get the idea, because then you could really bolster the weapons.
If they wanted to.
Right.
Well,
theoretically.
If they won't do it for Lamar, why would they do it for Huntley?
Well, they'd have hell of a lot more money to do it
Yeah.
for Huntley by not signing Lamar.
It's just so weird to me.
But Tyler Huntley is not Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
I didn't respond to you guys in the group chat because I understand and I love Tyler Huntley. I do think he deserves to be at least fighting for a starting job. I mean, he does fit that Ravens system pretty well because built around Lamar, and he's a very similar player, but he's not Lamar Jackson. So I did not agree with what you guys are saying. That's my opinion. He's not Lamar, dude.
It is, though, something to think about.
It is. That's why I hope Lamar just fucking leaves.
Yeah,
I think just goes to Detroit or somewhere else.
I'm gonna go somewhere that's already got weapons.
Bro,
I don't gotta worry about them getting me weapons.
That's what I'm saying, because look,
gross, and they'd still have a mid draft pick.
Yep.
Oh my god.
That's what I'm saying, though, because it's like, look, I think so. I'm looking at it from the perspective that the Ravens they're playing with Lamar because they don't want to pay him, but Lamar should really take that opportunity. Like, look, you're not going to pay me, and if another team is willing to, let's say they don't even give him let's say they give him.
I would take less.
1.7. No, that's what I'm saying. Let's say they give him let's say they give him at least like $175 million guaranteed, but let's say it's a 5-year, $250 million contract, let's say, which is typical right now. Like, you're telling me that you'd rather stay with the Ravens, just let's say 25 million more guaranteed. You're not going to make that anywhere else on the side with your endorsements, anything else. But you would rather stay there where you're going to cap strap them because they're not going to give you any more weapons. They're just going to re-sign you, or you'd rather go to another team that they're putting him in a
terrible spot. They're putting him in a terrible spot where he either is forced to leave because they won't pay him, or they're saying, okay, we'll pay you, but now we don't have money to get you your weapons you need. And so they're definitely putting him in a shitty spot.
It's going to be the same story
for the next 5 years.
For the next 5 years, is that, imagine if we got Lamar help. We can't get him any help because he's getting all this money.
Yeah, well, the cap's not real. So as the Rams proved last year, salary cap's a myth, and you can do whatever you want if you know how to crunch numbers.
Yeah, look at they risked it for the Super Bowl, which I understand, but
they went all in.
Yeah, they went all in on that. But I think it's just I just think, though, it's something to actually think about, because I just think that the Ravens are playing a dangerous game with him right now.
I agree. So. I don't necessarily agree
once he leaves, they're really,
and then what does it say to other players? You're a free agent, and you're taking offers and whatever, and your agent goes, "Hey, Baltimore called," and he goes, "Why would I want to go there?"
There's no Lamar Jackson.
And another thing too,
but they have potential to even lose guys on defense too that are end of contracts.
That's where I was also going, was that when have the Ravens ever been built on offense?
Never.
What have they always been built?
Defense, man. Come on now.
Slick. Come on, man. They're playing.
I agree. Right, I agree.
You're gonna lose a generational talent. Granted, he has his limitations and all that.
Who's not a top 10 quarterback?
Yeah, apparently.
I apologized about that.
You'd have to apologize every episode if Derek Carr keeps playing this.
Hey, he won the last game. He won the last game.
Josh Jacobs.
Hey, that's okay though. It's a dub.
Devontae the game before.
Yeah, but I think it's really a serious question that should be asked. I think the Ravens are playing a dangerous game. I think we all agree with that. They're playing a dangerous game with him, because if you're not going to pay him, somebody else will, and he's going to leave. I think no hesitation and go somewhere else better, where it's actually set up.
If the Lions, I think Detroit's perfect. Especially if they keep winning a few more games here and don't end up in that Bryce Young, CJ Stroud range.
Yeah,
and you just go get Lamar.
And then go.
Why not
get a defensive player in there?
Then you draft defense. Yeah,
Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got draft picks from the Vikings. You have Jameson.
Khalif Raymond's looking solid. DJ Chark's looking solid. Could maybe go get a tight end and later.
You
draft,
definitely
probably,
need to get a tight end if you're having
Yeah.
Lamar in, but.
Whew.
And it's
Man.
also the thing of like, you look at if you're Mark Andrews, right, and they Lamar leaves because they refuse to pay him.
But I'll be honest, they're just not handling it well.
But when your contract's
No.
over, are you gonna go, all right, I want to re-sign here, or like, hey, let me go play with the guy who force fed me like he wanted it, fucking, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
No, but at least it's the number
to
one.
any
Yeah.
other, yeah, to any
And
other
also shout out, I think it was one of your guys' friends when I posted the video of Odell's top choices and all that. It was one of your guys' friends that commented saying the disrespect Vitor showed, saying that Kansas City doesn't have a true one.
That was one of my friends from high school, Eric.
Yeah. Shout out Eric, man.
I agreed because Kelsey is a number one.
He is a number one, but I'm talking when we're
talking
number
one wide receiver. Yeah.
No,
that was just really funny.
Well, that's why I talk about it with I talk about with my fantasy team in our like home league here.
Yeah.
People, I get people like, you really should bolster your wide receiver. And I'm like, I've got Kelsey. Like, if you were looking at it through the fact of Kelsey being my wide receiver one and Devontae Smith with his 13 a game being my tight end, that's gold, right? Tight end with 13 a game. There's like two who can do that.
It just flips at that point. Yeah. But I just thought it was really funny though. That was a really funny comment. Shout out Eric for that one though. This one here, I think this one's just kind of easy. I want to talk about real quick before we get into anything further about the Bears and Justin Fields. Obviously, Justin Fields is hurt, shoulder injury. Should the Bears sit him, or should they just, if he's healthy, let him ride? What should you do? Let's just talk about that one real quick.
I want to play him because I don't think
I think he's shown enough.
It's not beneficial. Yeah, bro, but it's not beneficial to sit him when he's making all this progress. But I do agree with his play style. It's tough to get banged up. It's not like you're Josh Allen, 6'5", 240, taking hits. And
it's hard to get healthy.
It's even building up on Josh Allen a little bit. And Justin's 6'3", 220, but that's 20 pounds less. It's 2 inches less. Like and
it's just again,
different body style.
Similar to like Trey Lance is very close to size and weight with Josh Allen, but they don't look the same.
Yeah.
Right. So.
I think they should. I think it's a toss up if he's good.
I think
play him as long as you know he's healthy. Yeah,
Mooney's out for the season. I think
Eddie Jackson's looking like he's out. We're missing Kyler Gordon and
David
Brisker.
Montgomery the ball, run him into the ground because you don't like him anyway.
Khalil's out too, though.
Yeah, well,
this will just give the opportunity. Well, Chase Claypool was also a little bit hurt, and dinged up in the. Well, we gave away the Ravens pick, so I'm not totally mad.
We're sitting at 4, I think, right now.
No, I thought more than that.
Is it 3? Is it 3 now?
2. I think we're.
Is it 2 now?
Yeah, we're 2 or 3. Yeah,
no
we're
way.
2 or 3 right now. Yeah, we're 3-9. We have the second worst record right now. We're 3-9 right now. Yeah, we got the second pick.
The Broncos are right there with you.
Well, yeah.
Fucking the Rams are right there. Or whoever's got the Rams pick. Yeah, you're right. Texans are 1-8-1, 1-9-1.
Yeah.
Damn, bro, what the fuck? I thought we had. I guess we were tied, but with losing this past week, definitely.
The Lions get the Rams pick.
Yeah, the Lions get the Rams pick.
So they currently have 3-13. Bro,
Lamar Jackson, if you're listening to this right now, please go to the Motor City, and y'all are gonna win a bowl, bro. They're gonna win a.
The what?
Oh, they're gonna win a bowl. He said, "Go grab Will Anderson with the 3rd pick from Bama."
Although at this point, I think that'd be you guys because y'all ain't getting a quarterback, right?
Maybe.
So that looks like what you'd be on.
Hey, and we haven't said this.
Yeah, because two is so high to reach on a receiver.
And we haven't said this yet.
It's generational.
We're all tied. We haven't said
Bro, oh my God, please. I can't believe I'm rooting for a division rival, but it would be so funny to watch.
Imagine.
The Lions go from 0 to hero would be great.
Imagine.
That would be a powerhouse, bro.
Dan Campbell.
That'd be crazy.
Dan Campbell.
But I don't know. I'm in favor of playing Justin if he's healthy. I just think considering to get him reps.
Yeah.
But it's a fair point. It's only year 2. He's already proved he can do it as long as we call plays that are tailored towards him.
Out. You've got the number 2 running back who's a big weapon out. His number 2 wide receiver is banged up. Like
I just feel like you're gonna put him too much at risk.
It's set up for failure at this point. It's set up for him to run for 200 yards and then
get clocked.
Yeah. All right. I like that.
You make a fair argument there. Yeah.
So this will be the second to last thing that we talk about before we finish our NFL, segment portion here that we have for for the episode. But next thing that I want to talk about, Justin Herbert. So currently right now, they are on the outside looking in. They are on the bubble for the playoffs right now. They're 6-5.
That's crazy. Where are the Dolphins at? Oh, wait. Sorry. Go ahead.
They're 6-5 right now. They are tied record-wise with the Patriots, but the Patriots are over them in the playoff standings, you can call it there.
Yeah.
So if Justin Herbert doesn't make the playoffs, does this change your point of view on Justin Herbert, or is it another coaching change that he may need to go through?
Sorry, I think you're talking to Vitor on that one. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna change my opinion of Justin Herbert at all.
No,
I think I've seen enough from him over both his rookie year and even this year, especially before the injury, that I don't want to hear nothing about no injuries. Staley's so dumb, bro. That man is so frustrating.
Hey, Sean Payton's interested in the job if it does.
Please.
I guess it's not a fully defensive coach.
They need a defensive coach to get in there, and they need somebody he needs to bring in an OC who just helps them.
An OC, he needs to bring in a training staff that can keep fucking players healthy.
Well, that's true. They need to get guys back. That's I think another reason why it's hard to put it on Justin when you made all these defensive signings and half of them are out. You're missing all your weapons pretty much aside from Eckler, who's your best weapon.
My favorite part is in my head, I'm just being very comparable with the Tua thing. I just keep thinking about everything you're saying. I'm comparing it to the Dolphins.
What?
Just because I think Tua's better, but go ahead.
I think Tua's in the MVP conversation.
He is in the MVP conversation, but there's a clear favorite right now, and I don't think anyone's taking that away from him.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I got Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
He's getting although he's getting flexed out of prime time now. I don't know if anyone saw that, but right before we started, they moved the Broncos Chiefs game from next.
Sunday. Why? Because they're tired of watching the Broncos put up fucking 10 on prime time.
The game they put for Sunday night is, funny enough, Chargers Dolphins. So
we're gonna be watching that one.
It has playoff considerations.
But
nobody wants to watch the Chiefs mollywop.
Yeah.
A division rival.
Before we do finish, well,
do you want my opinion?
Yeah. Give me your opinion, bro. I need you to go off on something here. You've been holding it. You've been fixing your headphones.
I've been reserved. I let a lot out in the
change of scenery.
NBA. No, man. I don't think it would change my opinion of Justin Herbert. I do think Justin Herbert is a phenomenal quarterback. I always until he does something to prove to me that he belongs in that top tier, he's a step below elite.
Yeah. I've always called him. I've never put him in the tier with like Josh Allen, Mahomes.
He's a step below elite, and I don't even know if he's below that, man. I used to have him like leading that top tier or that tier below the top guys. Now he's fallen off in that. That's my opinion. But
I think so too, man.
Like I definitely coming out of his rookie year into his second year, 100%. He was like, okay, he's about half a jump away from being in that consideration. I think he just keeps taking steps back while we see other quarterbacks that are in his similar age range taking steps forward.
See a guy like Pat lose, Tyreek can continue to just
torch people.
Yeah.
I mean, we're looking at him complete 30, 40 passes a game to 10 different receivers, 11 different receivers. What were they? Their stat, they had the second team in franchise history to have, was it 10 or 11 or 12 guys
10,
with
10 players had at least one touchdown.
Yards. And that was 150 yards.
Oh, it was? Okay. That was another stat for them as well, was that it's one of the first times, I don't know if it was their history or something in the NFL, 10 different players have caught at least one touchdown pass.
Yeah, and I think ironically they were saying the other team was Andy Reid's team,
yeah.
The Eagles, but still I think it's just when you take away elite level production that we're seeing from Tyreek again this year.
I think we really underestimate the impact of coaching in the NFL. You look at a guy like Andy Reid, 100%,
what
he's done with Patrick Mahomes. Like, could Mahomes do it with?
I would say though, I would say though, a lot more this year. I think a lot more this year shows the type of pedigree that Andy Reid really has, especially with quarterbacks. He's known as that quarterback's guru. So I think that this year really shown like a full like turn.
Well, yeah, and I think like Mike
accomplish.
McDaniel in Miami, I think is another good example of like what a good coach can do, especially a coach that's catered to your players.
Mental wise. Mentally, Tua has changed because of Mike McDaniel and showing that Mike McDaniel is talking.
Did you not see the videos that went out from his interactions with Brian Flores last year and his interactions with Mike McDaniel this year?
Played though. He played like fucking 9 games in his first 2 years. I don't want to hear it.
He has a better record than Justin Herbert.
That's true. That is true.
So before we finish out the NFL, so I wanted to bring a little game here of contender or pretender. So I'm going to give you guys
these teams are going to be tender.
These teams are going to be
well-done chicken tender.
These teams are going to be in the playoff. These teams are going to be in the playoff picture, but I'm going to just name off probably about like, let's say about good 6 or 7, because I think a lot of the teams we know that they are for real or not.
Dame.
So first team, and I'm going to do this one from the AFC. First team here that I'm going to list off. Do we believe that the Titans are contenders or pretenders?
Are we talking like Super Bowl contender here?
Yes. Contenders to get all the way. And let me know why.
I think they have a good defense and they have a Derrick Henry. But hard. It's just I feel like they do it every year. And I don't think
reminds me of DeMar DeRozan. Weird.
This isn't even the best team that they've had, I think, like in recent years.
That's a bit unfair. DeMar comment.
Yeah.
Go ahead though.
But yeah, same thing. I think they do it every year. They look really good. And they can win a game here and there. You know, they won the wild card game last year, right, against the Ravens.
Yeah.
But they just always seem to, at some point or another, the teams just commit to stopping Derrick Henry, and then it stops the team, and they hit a wall.
Yeah, we were talking about it this morning that they already didn't have the most dominant pass game, and then you get rid of AJ Brown, who's top 10 in the league. Yeah. Man, that's tough. I think as long as you have a solid defense, you can win any game. Give me pretender. I think there's a lot more talent in the AFC.
All right. Next team.
They would be one of my past tender picks.
Yeah, definitely. I like that though. Past tender. I like that.
Now I'm thinking about chicken tenders.
I'm sorry.
Next team that I'm gonna give off here. I'm gonna jump over to the NFC now. Talked about this team a lot. Talked about them a lot. Minnesota Vikings, pretenders or contenders?
Oh, fuck you.
I had to throw it in there.
See them winning a Super Bowl. Like they're good. They're a really good team, and I think they can put up a fight. But I can't see them winning a Super Bowl.
They're lucky they're in the NFC. I'll say that,
especially in the NFC North. They can just stack up some
Vitor, you got him as a pretender?
I think I got him as a pretender. There's just something about it that's like
it doesn't feel right.
It screams like this team is going to get blown out in like the divisional, and everyone's going to be like.
Well, I think so. The toughest stretch over their entire schedule was Bills, Cowboys back to back. They pushed most people's best team. I think that with the Chiefs, playing the way they've done throughout the entire year, even though they dropped the game to the Bills. You know, Bills being probably second, third best team in the league.
Yeah.
And they pushed them to the wire and ended up pulling through a massive victory just to bounce back the following week and drop 3 points, give up 40 to the Cowboys at home. So it's like I think that was perfect for what we've talked about for them the entire game. They've had games where they were up 17 and then it ends up being they win by 3, or they were down 14 and they win by 1 or 2. Like they've just been so inconsistent, and I can't have that inconsistency. And I don't think their defense is
good enough in the playoff. Like when it comes,
I can't have that inconsistency come playoff time. So I'm gonna go pretender, but it hurts because I just think, God, I just want to be like, let me call plays and just be like, give it to Jettas.
Which we always keep saying every single week.
That'd be me in the huddle. I would be looking at my wrist thing, and then I'd take it off, throw it over my shoulder, give it to Jettas.
Like wait,
break.
Literally every time. What route you gonna run? Just tell him to go run.
Tell him to give him a slant.
Everything. That would be my play every time.
Alrighty.
honestly.
with a couple Dalvin Cook handoffs.
Next team that I got in the AFC for you guys are Baltimore Ravens.
Yo, good guess.
Are the Baltimore Ravens contenders or pretenders? Let's say fully healthy. Baltimore Ravens.
I mean, they're never going to be fully healthy because they got guys out there.
Are the Baltimore Ravens contenders or pretenders?
Man,
the defense is but they just got
their defense is. That's why I want to put them as contenders.
But
I feel like that defense is solid.
But it's not. I don't know if it's. I mean, you just.
I feel like the way the game script you've seen throughout the entire season is the same way it's going to come down to come playoff game is like, yeah, the game is like teen to teen, 17-14, 19-17, and it's like we need to march down the field, but who is Lamar supposed to have help him? You know what I mean?
And again, you talk about the
Jackson.
AFC,
right?
Deshaun
you know
Jackson.
what I mean? It's just like who am I?
Deshaun Jackson.
Jackson. Triple team Mark Andrews, and okay, there it is.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna go pretender.
Yeah,
I think that defense is real good. I mean, we've seen a lot of their
AFC
games have all been teen to teens, 20-17s.
If they were an NFC team, they might be a contender.
Yeah, I would agree.
But
I would agree.
I think in the AFC, having to get past, Dolphins, Bills.
I mean, you're rolling the
Chiefs,
dice on what Bengals.
I'd say I'd even go.
They got to try to win the division in general.
Yeah.
I'd even go along the lines of saying the Titans as well. The Titans are
Dolphins,
in a similar
Bills,
situation.
Chiefs, Titans, Bengals. I mean, any of those 4 or 5 teams right there.
Okay. I like that. Okay, calling them both pretenders.
Jets. I mean, Jets defense is insane, and if they run Mike White out there consistently, that could be a problem too.
The Baltimore pass defense has not been anything to write home about.
No,
the run defense is great. They can get to the quarterback, but if quarterback gets a little bit of time, likelihood
especially
is
if he gets a rhythm like Mike White looked like he had against the Bears, could be bad. We'll go pretenders in the AFC.
I like this. Okay,
tough side to be in, man.
Next one, I think this one is a legit one to really wonder about. The NFC are the Dallas Cowboys contenders or pretenders?
I'll let you go.
Again, this is similar to the Vikings. The Cowboys they just cowboy. You know what I mean? Like they get to the playoffs and they blow it.
You see,
but this team, on paper, this team is a contender. I think they're still going to cowboy it up and slip up in the playoffs, but on paper, they are 100% a contender.
Yeah, I got them as contenders for sure, especially, again, being in the NFC. I think they are right there behind both Philly and Minnesota as some of the better teams. I agree, though, that Dallas, it feels like when people count them out, is when they play at their best.
Yeah, and then
I feel like when people are like, "Oh man, this team's legit," and then drop a game to the Packers, and everyone's like, oh, "Okay, they suck," and then blow out the Vikings, and then beat division rivals, the Giants. But now who knows what we get next week? Now everyone's like back on the Cowboy bandwagon. Maybe they drop a dud again.
The playoffs last year, the only reason they even looked like they were in the game is because Jimmy threw a terrible pick.
Yeah, that was a bad. Yeah, well. How many times you can say that?
Not often.
In the game against the Rams, Jimmy threw a terrible pick.
All right. Next one I got.
Give me the boys.
Next one I got here. I'm gonna include one more AFC team, and then I'm gonna include one team on the bubble. So the next team, contender or pretender, Cincinnati Bengals.
I think they're a contender. I think once you get there once, as long as you don't crumble. I think a lot of the guys on the roster know what it takes to get back. Okay. Like they know what they have to do. They know how much every play is going to matter. And I think that means a lot in the playoffs.
So, especially in this sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got contender. We talked about it earlier. I think you made a good point. 5-2 in their last. I mean, if we talk about that blip in Cleveland, it's really 5-1.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, they look to be clicking on all cylinders right now. I mean, they've got from Jamar Chase coming back. T. Higgins would be a number one on just about any other team outside of the top 5, maybe 8 receiver guys. I mean, he could be pushing a top 10 spot himself. Tyler Boyd in the slot is tough to stop, especially when those two are moving. Hayden Hurst is a dynamite tight end.
Solid.
You have a top 8 back in Joe Mixon, who's dual threat. can run for 100, can catch for 100 if you need it.
And P-Run is really showing up as well.
The O-line is the one question mark. Pass
But they've been playing. But they've been playing
better. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. And that's all you got to do. You don't gotta, no. It's gonna.
I'm not asking for like
20 minutes in pocket, right?
Yeah,
it's just give them
exactly.
5-6 seconds.
Give me time
seconds.
so that my actual weapons can scan the field and see what the option is. I'm not asking, you know what I mean? So
okay.
And the defense again, they're not Bills level. They're not, Chiefs have been a solid defense. They're not Niners level. They're not Cowboys level, but when your offense can put up 40 on the drop of a dime.
Yeah, all you got to do is keep them under 20 and you're in every game.
Exactly.
So
and they got Daddy McPherson, so that boy can kick a field goal.
He came back from the bye playing well. He had missed a few early.
He did. But I just think when it matters, we saw it last year. He's locked in. He can make them.
So now
I think it's a pretty well-rounded team. Contenders.
All right. So
but you got to get past Buffalo and KC still. So
last team that I want to talk about is if they make the playoffs. Are the Los Angeles Chargers. Justin Herbert playing in the playoffs. Contenders or pretenders?
That's tough, man.
Their defense, right, in the state that it's in, like all their injuries, I got to put them as pretenders. But I do think they'll have some exciting games or an exciting game depending on
if they were to. If they were.
I hope they miss the playoffs
because Justin Herbert and Pat Mahomes have always had one-score games.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, the Chiefs win mostly.
That's what I'm saying because that's what I'm saying because if you get him into the playoffs and then is he showing you that he's going to carry the team?
What was that? You said if, right?
What?
You said if, right? If you get him into the playoffs.
I did say it.
Your personal Tua agenda. It's growing into an anti-Herbert / Chargers agenda.
Roll Tide.
Soon enough, he's going to be saying fuck all of Oregon and Los Angeles.
Hey, go Bo Nix. Go Bo Nix.
At that point. But
go that Bo finishes Nix and Mariota.
That finishes out
Pretenders. Go ahead.
Pretenders. All right, I like it. But that finishes out the NFL portion, or the NFL segment that we had for this portion here of the episode. Now, next thing, we'll let CC really get into this. It's really getting juicy now.
Brief.
Yeah, really getting juicy now though. I actually got some notes though, like just to kind of make it a little bit.
I just don't want to. I don't want to talk too much slander. Isaac's not here to defend himself.
Yeah. So
but I just want to. Let me lean in here.
Good.
And just look Isaac in the eye here. That shit hurts, doesn't it? That shit stings. That shit fucking stings. Roll Tide.
But the new college football rankings came out.
Yep.
So they have Georgia at 1, Michigan at 2, TCU 3, USC.
Them Horned Frogs
at number 4.
I think that's well deserved.
And then Ohio State dropped to 5. Bama is the new number 6. Yep. So real quick, I'll go over the games and then one question
Conference
that I do have for the
championship weekend, baby.
Yeah, one question that I do have, and then I'll let you get more into it there. So, SEC championship game is Georgia versus LSU. Big Ten championship game is Michigan versus Purdue.
That's so stinky.
Big 12 championship game TCU versus Kansas State. That's tough. Kansas State does.
It's going to be tough. A run. That was 2 walks in the park and a run. They're going to have to run through that park.
Pac-12 championship game USC versus Utah.
Tough game, bro. Utah.
Yep.
Man, the Utes. The
question that I have though.
Utah plays everybody tough, man.
Who's more likely to get upset out of those 4 championship games? Georgia, Michigan, TCU, or USC?
I'll go in order. USC. I'll go Georgia.
I'm sorry. So it's ranking more. Okay.
Yeah. I'll go USC. I'll go Georgia. I'll go TCU, and then I'll go Michigan.
Yeah, I don't think Michigan's got a chance of losing here. No. I don't.
I can't wait though. I hope that honestly. Here's my thing. I know that was your question, and who was yours?
For what?
Most chance to lose?
I I mean, it's going to be between USC and TCU for me. I
Okay.
think
You think Georgia handles?
I think
I think Georgia handles too, but I just hope they
I
don't.
think having
But
like,
actually,
seen
no, I
Utah
hope they
play
do because I don't want LSU in there either.
several times over the last few years, like the
Mhm.
way they play football is just annoying for other teams to play against.
Yeah.
Both offensively and defensively. I think they're just annoying.
Yeah.
So I think they can really give USC a run.
Utah, yo, bro, Utah's scary.
So the thing is that obviously Ohio State and Bama are 5 and 6. If TCU loses, USC loses, Ohio State and Bama are getting in. Right?
Go ahead. What'd you say?
That if TCU and USC lose, Ohio State and Bama are in, right?
I hope so.
Right?
Yeah, that's why they put them at 5 and 6.
It's
Right?
tough. It's tough because man, it's tough.
I know, but you would right? You would think.
I mean, yeah, typically, especially if you're looking
Bama's that LSU loss isn't great because it's a 3-loss team that you lost to. Yeah. I don't know. You would think so, hypothetically.
Right?
You never
I
know
don't think it happens.
Because USC would have 3 losses. Two?
USC has 1 loss.
Okay, to Utah. Yeah.
It would be 2 losses and no conference championship, which is same thing that you'd be looking at as Alabama would be 2 losses, no conference championship.
Factoring in strength of schedule and what their
wins. If any team loses that's not named Georgia,
Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan, you can't put Ohio State in there.
No.
Yeah, so I guess Ohio State's
would you say though
would
you say though that is would be if Michigan were to lose to Purdue, wouldn't you think though that
I think
Ohio
Michigan's
State
still in? I think
you would think that they'll still be in?
I think Michigan might still be in
because it makes Ohio State's loss that much
it's
better.
Purdue. It's fucking Purdue
can lose and still make it. Yeah. I don't think USC can.
How is it fucking Purdue, bro?
I know.
Let's look.
That's what I'm saying.
10 standings.
Oh, I forget they have the shit side.
They have the bad side.
That side's fucking ass. I feel like it should be Penn State. Penn State's got 2 losses and they're both to Michigan and Ohio State. That's so
because
sad.
I don't think
RIP Penn State.
Because if we're looking at it, Tennessee has no chance.
Tennessee's out, unfortunately.
Penn State has no chance.
Okay, but Tennessee's got 2 losses, and they're just as you could argue Tennessee over Bama. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
I just think the problem is,
is it going to get deeper? Is it going to be deeper than at least what I'm thinking? Because I'm thinking 5-6 makes it. I think it's going to get deep.
If that happens, they're gonna have a hellhole to put through, bro. Because that's just gonna be crazy. Honestly, I'll be 100% completely honest. I hope it stays. I know Alabama's not in it, which hurts me. I know Ohio State's not in it. That hurts Isaac. I think if it stays, if everybody wins, I think that's a hell of a Final Four.
You think so?
I think TCU and Michigan. I think TCU and Michigan is a damn good game.
That's what I'm saying. I think that one is a lot closer than people think.
Defense. Yeah. I think Michigan's defense. Isaac underrated them again. I think a lot of people underrate that defense. They did,
but I think it'll be a close. I think it'll be an entertaining.
TCU scraped through a lot of games this year. I'm gonna be honest with you. They know how they've found games to win, but Big Ten and SEC title teams are different breeds, man. And I think the USC Georgia game is close for a half. I think Georgia pulls that shit out.
LSU and Georgia.
No, I'm talking about if it's Georgia USC.
Yeah.
I'm expecting Georgia to win. I'm expecting Georgia to handle.
Their defense is just so dumb.
Because I think it'll be Georgia, Michigan, and I think Georgia blows out Michigan in the championship game.
I mean, we saw it last year. Georgia played Michigan in the semifinals, and they shat on them. And that was the same deal. Michigan coming off of beating Ohio State, winning the Big Ten. Mm-hmm. But I agree with you, bro. It's gonna get real fucking crazy if TCU and USC lose. That shit's fucking crazy.
It is
because you have arguments for Tennessee, you have arguments for Bama. I think Ohio State would lock it up in the next 3. They would 100% go from.
That's what I'm saying. So do you
5 to 3. It would just be like
Ohio
a 3
State makes it for sure, though, right?
Yes, yeah. If USC loses and TCU wins, if TCU loses and USC wins, if 3 of the 4 teams in the top, man, fuck.
So let's
lose one game and
they've already no.
They haven't lost,
12,
but no.
Big 12 can't do it. Sorry.
No.
Sorry.
But so let's say TCU.
The only way that happens is an SEC team can do it.
Before,
a
before
Big
we
Ten
go,
team in Ohio State's case.
before we do finish out, so let's say TCU wins, USC loses. Do you think Ohio State jumps up to that 4 spot? No problem.
I think they give it to Ohio State over TCU. TCU, I've said it all year, they have to be flawless. They cannot lose a game, even if it's the title game.
Do you think, though, if TCU loses, that they would...
That's what you just said, no?
No, the USC. Do you think if TCU loses, do they keep USC at 4 or bump them up to 3 and put Ohio State 4?
If they win,
or
if USC wins?
No. If TCU loses...
No, yes, but if you are saying in this
scenario,
he's
saying
USC
TCU
winning,
loses, goes out to 5. He's saying, will USC stay 4 and
or
put Ohio State to 3?
If they win their game, and
nah, I think the reason I don't.
But you get what I'm saying, though, based off of the game, based off of they losing to Michigan, So
I don't think that they will put another rematch in the semifinal.
That'd be spicy, though.
I think, but the same thing they did with Bama, Georgia 2 years ago, or was that last? That was last year. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Same thing they did with Bama, Georgia last year. They very well could have put them 2-3. Bama had a loss, but won the title. But they put Bama 1, Georgia 2. Yeah, I don't see it because I think the opportunity for a Big Ten title game rematch in the championship game would be crazy.
I think that'd be pretty lit, though. At least in a semifinal. I think that'd be lit.
Georgia beats them both.
Well, I know Georgia beats them both, but I'm saying Michigan against Ohio State again.
I hate to say it.
I think that'd be a great game.
I hate to say it, man. I think Georgia can play Michigan on a Friday night and go beat Ohio State Saturday morning, bro. They look that good this year. It's so stupid. I hate it so much.
That's crazy. But we're getting really spicy. This weekend is gonna tell a lot.
Even if if one team loses, that's not Georgia. If one between USC or TCU, whoever loses,
Ohio State
gets in. Yeah. Okay. Ohio State will get in,
but
and I think they get in at a 4 no matter what.
If both of them lose, though, TCU and USC,
then we get spicy.
It's gonna be spicy
because the games are not easy. It's not like even Georgia, I think, still has something to prove a little bit. But they all know they know how to win. They know how to win. They know how to win.
Hey, this was fun, man. This was a good one.
You need Dave in the whiteboard right here, boy.
Hey, if any of you guys do not know, Dave in the whiteboard around this time of year with CC, shout out Josh Pater. Oh man, it would have been good. It was entertaining. You just sit there and watch with your popcorn, man. But that ends our second portion here of episode 24. Again, we wanted to split it up for you guys so that way if you guys wanted to listen to one or the other, you guys are able to do that without having to listen to a full 2 hours. So again, check out our TikTok, check out our YouTube. We are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts with weekly episodes. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be uploading one portion on Wednesday morning. So it is November 29th right now. I'm going to upload this first portion here for you guys of the NBA Wednesday morning. Then going to upload the second portion for the NFL. Going to upload that for you guys Friday morning, just so that way you guys have some time to digest one or the other, take a look into it. And then again, check out all of our socials. We're live and set on those. Follow our Twitter, everything. Follow us, like, subscribe, comment, anything above the sun or below the sun, I want you guys to do. So appreciate you guys for listening in and tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your guys' week. We'll see you guys along with Isaac. We'll be back next week for our following episode for number 25. Have a great rest of the week, y'all.
Roll Tide.
Later.